tonight.
Hello. Let me just invite Carolyn in. Hiya.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. So while Carolyn just introduces today briefly, I'm just going to share the links and make sure that everything's worked properly on Facebook.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So this is our weekly Chit-Chat Cafe, where we're live streaming on our Facebook page, and kind of just talking about different topics around mental health that link in with our program of courses and workshops, the Mental Wealth Academy, which is running through July and August. So we've got the journal writing course has already started. You can still sign up for that if you want, and join in. It's a course that people can follow at their own pace. And this coming Friday, my course Discover Yourself is starting. That's a kind of self-development course that I talked about a bit last week. And we've also got a couple of mindfulness sessions every week as well. So there was a live stream mindfulness session yesterday. If you scroll down the page, you can still see that. And then the next one will be on Saturday at 4 o'clock. So again, live on Facebook. So I hope to see you there. So today we're going to talk about a course that is starting next week, which is working through worry, which Sarah is facilitating. So I was going to ask Sarah a few questions about the course, and so she can kind of chat about it, and then if you've got any questions, there'll be an opportunity for that as well. So, and if you have any questions while Sarah's chatting, just pop them in the comments box, or you can ring in, or you can join us on the Zoom. So all those links are in the chat, so do have a look. Okay. So Sarah, do you want to give us a bit of background to your course, Working with Worry? We're working through worry, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. So as I work as a psychological therapist. I've been doing this for a few years now, and dealing with worry is one of the main areas that people often struggle with. So that kind of being in your head, the overthinking, the mulling things over, that worry, that rumination, it is part of us. It's part of all of us. Everyone does it. So the idea of this course really is to give some tools and some techniques that can help one to allow ourselves an opportunity to let go of that worry and kind of reclaim a bit of that time, because we can often find ourselves very engrossed in worry, especially when there's uncertainty. And at the moment, there's so much uncertainty in the world that I think even the most resilient of people are facing worry right now. And we're all kind of feeling that uncertainty. So in a nutshell, that's really the basis of it. It's about dealing with uncertainty, and working out ways of being able to let go of worry, which is easier said than done.
Yes, it's a tough one, isn't it? Yeah. But can you give examples of maybe of the kind of techniques or methods that you kind of introduce people to?
Yeah, so first of all, it's about spending some time really identifying what worry is. And it's about those thoughts that are in the future or in the past. So sort of thoughts like, what if this happens? What if that happens? Perhaps this should have happened. What if things were different? It's all those hypotheticals. And there's often a sense as human beings, we often feel as though we're doing some kind of problem solving when we worry. We
Goes
get this.
round and round, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly. And so it's really spending some time to just differentiate between problem solving, which is really beneficial, and worry when we're just churning it, and it is just churning it over and over and over. And those things that we churn in our minds are normally the things that we don't have certainty over. They're the hypothetical things in life, the things that we're not really sure about, the ones that we can't find the answers to. So we can't problem solve something that we can't find the answer to. So it's,
but you can have lots of internal conversations.
yeah.
I mean, I know I do.
Yeah.
A technique that I've often used is writing things down. Sometimes I often feel like just getting things out of my head onto paper is quite a good method.
Yeah, definitely. And so in the first week of the course, we're going to be looking at jotting down our worries, because like a lot of people find, when you get it out of your head, in many ways it can take the power away. But it's also quite cathartic, I think is the word, where there's a release in a sense. You've taken it out your head, so maybe you don't need to think about it anymore. It's now on paper. That isn't the case for everyone all the time, but it's a helpful way of really identifying, is this something that's actually happening right now that I need to problem solve? Is this something just that's uncertain that I'm just churning up in my head? And that getting it on paper can help. And then looking at sort of finding solutions, because we're very much negative, problem orientated. We're designed to remember bad things. We're designed to notice threat. That's what kept us alive for hundreds of years. It just doesn't work for us anymore. Evolution hasn't caught up with the way that we live. So our bodies and our mind is orientated to recognize all those possible threats, but we don't often look at the solutions, what might go well, and they're just as hypothetical. So I often talk about like the positive what ifs.
It is a kind of a bit of a constant, isn't it? You know, there's just things like looking at the news and social media as well. It all kind of feeds into a kind of a generalized anxiety, doesn't it? That isn't necessarily specifically about something. It's just a kind of blob of fear about things that might happen.
Yeah, that's it. There's so much uncertainty, but that tolerance of uncertainty, we know, is very difficult for human beings generally. We like to have pattern and routine in our lives. We like to be able to plan and know what's going on. Most of us, I mean, there'll be times when we enjoy some spontaneity, and that's important to have. But overall, when it comes to major life events, we like to have certainty in our life. So at the moment, there's so much uncertainty. So it's really about looking at ways in which we can manage that and not be really overwhelmed, and looking at the things that might go well as the things that might not go so well, brings us into balance. And everything in life is about balance, isn't it? And it's not necessarily about dismissing the things that could go wrong, or dismissing the bad things in the world, because there are bad things in the world, things do go wrong, but we want to enhance that balance and say, well, actually, okay, but there's some good here, and there's some things that might go okay, and actually this could turn out all right in this way. So just kind of leveling it up.
Is there something as well about a bit of risk management? Do you know what I mean? Because there are real risks at the moment, aren't there, for people in terms of health and jobs, and all those kind of things, then it might be, I don't know, are there kind of, is that part of thinking about some of those fears and how you might be able to prepare, or be realistic, just it's not about building up fear, is it, but being realistic about things that might happen.
Yes, yeah, and that kind of positive risk taking is about balance, isn't it? It's about noticing where the balance sits for you in terms of that risk. Is it because we take a risk every day when we just cross the road in normal life anyway? There's risks all the time, but we're mitigating those risks and we're balancing it out with what's the benefits. So looking at that balance, that's the strengths against the difficulties, and being able to break it down. So what I like to use myself as a bit of an analogy here. So when I want to say in the past I've wanted to lose some weight, or I've decided I'm going to get really fit and healthy, and I will just plunge myself into going running every day, and I'll run every day for like a week or something, and I'll diet, and I'll starve myself, and and it's all too much, and then I'm just like, well, someone's brought in cake, and I'll have a piece of cake, screw it, the whole thing's gone now, I'll just go back to normal. So I retract back. So we have this tendency as people to jump into where we think we should be, and then it's all too overwhelming and it's all just too much, so we then recoil back to our safety zone. So you might work out for a couple of weeks and you feel really tired and awful, and you just recoil back and then you don't bother. So well, that's why
I think that's a very common pattern, isn't it?
Yeah. So the idea is to kind of break that down, and I use a lot of imagery. I think imagery is quite important. So I like to think of it as like a bullseye. You've got your comfort zone in the middle, and at the moment our comfort zone might have been even smaller than it used to be because of social distancing, because of having to recoil to our safe place, especially for those who have been shielding. It's probably particularly difficult. So in that process of taking some positive risks, we want to be able to break it down. So at each step, we can kind of analyze and check that balance. And is this right for me? You don't want to just jump in and say, well, I should be out every day, and then get scared and then not go out. So like, if you think about it like a bullseye, you've got your comfort zone in the middle, and then you've got all your little rings outside. And as you slowly expand, you're slowly expanding your comfort zone into those areas, those bits that are a bit more easier to manage. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sort of smaller steps, isn't it? Rather than a big jump to the outer rim.
Yes.
And then going,
exactly, yeah. And it
yeah.
gives yourself a chance as well to mitigate those risks and say, is this right for me? And you can change your mind. And if you've made a small step and that's just a small part of your target, then you've got more opportunity to reevaluate and continue, to kind of reclaim some of your life back, or do something that you want to do. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if anyone has got any comments or
yeah, I feel I've just talked for ages, haven't I?
Wants to jump in.
I don't know what I was going to talk about tonight, and now I've just waffled on for like 20 minutes. So yeah, anyone who's watching, please do feel free to leave us a message. Has anyone found other ways to manage their worry and anxiety through this time? Do these techniques sound familiar? Are you trying it? Is there something new? Let us know. It'd be really good to hear from you. We've put this stuff in the comments as mentioned earlier.
And if anyone wants to kind of see a little bit more, they can go on the website, can't they, and have a look at the information about the course and hopefully sign up.
Definitely.
You've got quite a few sign-ups, I think, already.
We have, yeah. And the other element of the course that I haven't mentioned yet is just around like self-compassion. Is just kind of being friendly to ourselves. We're often our own worst enemies. So so the course is a bit of a mixture of a few different types of therapy. So it starts off with a bit of sort of CBT, sort of some little elements of the do-gas model, if anyone sort of ever done any of this work before. And then it's got a bit of sort of self-compassion stuff from
what's the do-gas model?
do-gas model is what's often used within NHS treatment for general anxiety.
All right.
It's like a whole sort of protocol treatment. So there's just like there's elements of that. It kind of starts off that way, talking about the hypothetical against the current problem. So the hypothetical worry against the current problem. But it's not following that model exactly. So I've integrated bits of sort of self-compassion, because when I've done therapy with people who are suffering from general anxiety, and this isn't a course that's targeted at general anxiety at all, this is a lot more general, but for those who are suffering something a bit more severe, often find that self-compassion is really useful to do. So that's something that I've put into this course.
People tend to be incredibly self-critical, don't they?
Yeah.
We like you say, that kind of negative inner voice is very damaging, really.
Definitely. Yeah, so it's a nice way of looking at it is to kind of reflect it onto somebody else. So if you're motivating a child, for instance, would you speak to them like you speak to yourself? And if the answer's no, then what makes you different? How come that's going to motivate you when it doesn't work? Say if you were to say it to someone else, what might be the effects if you spoke to someone else like that? So do we not deserve the same for ourselves? Yeah.
So what would you say? It's 7 sessions, isn't it, your course? So what would you say that people would kind of go away with at the end of the course? What would be their takeaway?
So hopefully some really clear ways to tackle worry, and to just some real sort of techniques. So as I was saying, like bringing in the balance, looking at the positive things that could happen as well as the negative, to be able to hopefully spend less time worrying. That's the ultimate goal, to be able to reclaim that time back so you can actually enjoy your life.
Yeah, it's incredibly time consuming, isn't it? Worry.
It is.
Really, really, yeah.
Especially at night time. I think most people worry the most, happens most at night.
And it's a real energy suck, isn't it? It kind of drains you of energy.
Yeah, it can make you feel quite irritable. So really the goals of this course is by the end of that to be able to feel as though you've got more opportunity to spend less time worrying, to have to feel okay about not needing to worry. And at the moment we're all feeling a little more perhaps unsettled than normal. So hopefully this will give some skills, some tools and some techniques that people can apply, as I say, that will hopefully give them just that bit of extra choice. That's the goal, really.
Yeah. Okay. Have we got any comments? Anyone contributing? Or
so I can see a few people are watching, but nobody's written us a comment yet. So it'd be very nice to hear what you think. Do you think I'm just talking with and it's not making any sense? Or is this sounding familiar? Is this sounding relevant? What are your thoughts? let us know, because we're going to be here for a couple more minutes.
Yeah, I think so. Next week is our Wednesday morning session, isn't it?
Yeah.
Again, so that's
What are we doing for that?
10:30. Sorry.
What's our topic? Can't even remember.
So I'm just thinking. I think it's next week that you're not able to make it on
Yes.
Wednesday. So we've got Sandy Walker is going to be a guest for a chat, and we're going to talk about the mental wealth trialogues, hopefully.
Cool.
So yeah, because Sandy was the person who kind of initiated that originally, and so she can hopefully talk a bit more about the background to trialogues, and that'll because then I think it's the week after that we've got our first trialogue event.
Yeah, we're
So
really.
if you don't know what a trialogue is,
yeah, tune in on Wednesday morning.
to find out. Yeah.
Yeah, and it would be really nice to get some engagement into the Chit-Chat Cafe. So please
Yes.
do, if you're sitting back and wondering, like, oh, shall I phone in? Have I got anything to say? You can always drop us a message and sort of say, look, I'm kind of thinking about it, but wasn't sure, didn't know how it happened. Touch base with us, and you know, we'll support you to feel able to do that in the best way that you want to, because we've set up different ways for people to engage. So we wanted to make sure people felt that they could call in, so they didn't need to have their video on, or you know, message, so you don't even need to come in. But it was really important for us to be able to reach out and engage. So if you are sitting back and you're thinking, yeah, I've got things I could say, but you don't feel able to, just drop us a message later and get in touch, because we'd really love to hear from you. I can see there's a message just popped up there. Sandy saying, just wondering how the worry course might link with the mindfulness sessions. Yeah, really good point. And I guess the answer to that is I hadn't thought about it before, but there's no reason why it can't link, because our mindfulness is so generic, it's so open, and it works with anything. So they will definitely go well together. But yeah, I haven't kind of written a direct link within the course, but it goes together for sure. And our mindfulness sessions, we're now streaming on the Facebook page, so they're open. But if you want to get all the extra resources, you can join the course. And within the course, you've got all the gubbins in there that we've put together for you. And then all the sessions will be uploaded in there too. So you've got all the practice, the mindful practices. Practices? Is that the right plural?
I don't know. Mindful. It is, yeah, practices, yeah.
Okay. Language is not my easiest topic.
and there is now, you know, there is a kind of growing amount of resources, isn't there, on the Mental Wealth Academy website, you know, with all the courses. You don't have to sign up absolutely dead on the date. You can sign up a bit later, you know, have a look round, like with the mindfulness, have a look at the mindfulness recordings, and yeah, and that will grow, won't it, as the time goes on. So
yeah, definitely
quite a lot there.
So you can sign up at any time, and then when you get into the course, you've got all the stuff up to date, and then we're adding more and more as we go through. And I think that's the same for the journal course as well. So that's slightly different. It's on Slack rather than on the website.
Yeah.
But again, like it's all there. You can join, and you can catch up, you know, or you can just kind of go at your own pace. It's really, you know, what we've put together is really flexible, I think. You can
so I think it's about kind of thinking what because different people like to approach it in a different way, don't they? I quite like to have a specific deadline and have a date of something that I sign up to, that's more likely to make me do it.
Yes.
But other people want to feel it's more kind of in their own control and can be flexible to do things in their own time.
Yeah, I quite like to dip into things, and I want to do it in my own space, because I don't like being told what to do. So I'm like, no, I'll do what I want to do.
Right.
I'll do it when I want to do it.
I love being told what to do.
So
yeah, it's horses for courses, isn't it?
it is.
Suiting different people. Yeah,
it is, and we have really tried to design these courses to be open to and flexible for those different approaches. So you can join the live sessions if you want. You can, or you can not do that and just engage when you want to. It's really open. So Sandy's saying people have asked me if they can do it in their own time. Yeah, sorry. So I think there's a bit of a delay there. Hopefully we've just answered that.
yeah.
It's all there, so you can just do it in your own time. And then, as I say, we're just adding on the back of that as we go through.
Yeah. Okay, are we pretty much done for today, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I feel really exhausted today, and I feel like like we've just, I can't believe that half an hour was just gone like that. I've just talked.
Really quick, yeah. And you didn't know what you were going to say at the beginning.
I don't know what I've actually said, so
you'll have to listen back.
Yeah, hopefully it was fairly coherent.
Yeah, no, it was really interesting. Thank you.
Good.
Okay, so
well, thank you everyone.
All right, bye. See you next Wednesday.
Yes, 10:30.
10:30 next Wednesday. Yeah.
See you then, guys.
Bye.
Good night.